Good morning again, folks, to especially those who are on the Brisbane timeline and local to EAGLEBY, where I live. 19th of the 3rd, 26. I made a video last night on some more particulars on some other things from the book to give evidence of the book, The Holy Grail of Science. A great deal of the book points to these lines pointing onto our earth to create all sorts of natural phenomena. So today I'm going to talk about tornadoes and hurricanes, and in the book I said that the lines point onto the earth and create eddy currents, electromagnetic eddy currents, and the energy of our earth, something I just realized now, the energy of our earth is a great deal in the natural form of electromagnetic energy as the highest percentage of magnetic. When we get movement in a magnetic field, scales move from the magnetic energy outweighing the electrical energy, and the scales move when we have movement, and electricity outweighs magnetic energy. We have movement in tornadoes. I'm not sure about something that just struck me then about electrical energy meeting magnetic energy, but no, the lines are primarily magnetic energy, electromagnetic energy in the highest percentage as magnetic energy. And in the book I said that the lines come in to a high degree in the northern hemisphere and create tornadoes, which are an atmospheric vortex, compared to cyclones, which are also an atmospheric vortex, but probably 1,000 times bigger. In the book, I also said there are 4 seasons in our yearly orbit, let's call it. Let's refer to it as the yearly orbit. And king tides are quarterly, every 3 months. These massive storms that come in are quarterly as well, and I'm going to show you that today. The lines, and for those of you who are technical and scientific and are hip to my theories, there's a strong indicator on that one. That picture right there just blows my mind. It really does. It's so exciting, that picture there. This is our Earth, of course, and that's the sky where the line, I say, is coming in. Let me go to some more evidence that they are magnetic lines pointing onto our Earth now from this documentary. I saw 5 minutes of this documentary and had to look at it from YouTube. And by law, you can't take more than 10% of somebody else's work. And I'm not. I'm going to take an extremely minuscule, probably 1/1000th of a percent of this chap's work, which is incorrect. His Mr. Tornado, he was called, referred to. My guess is that's what he wanted to be referred to as. Otherwise, he would have told him to stop. His name was Fujita, and he developed the Fujita scale of measuring wind speeds and etc. of tornadoes, and also gave, I guess they were waiting for his theory on what tornadoes were, and gave a theory. He produced a tornado machine that turbulated the air. But what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you separately. I won't say. Well, I'll show you what I've discovered this morning, and it's going to verify my book, which is the exciting part for me. That's what my exuberance is. And it's going to prove to you that tornadoes are magnetic. And hey, it was called the Fujita scale. His last name was Fujita, and I named a lot of things COX, effects, and etc. in the book. And let me tell you, it wasn't egotistical at the time. And what it was is so that in the future, if anyone mentioned a Cox effect, they know that it refers to magnetics, and the magnetics that were discovered in a particular era of time. That's all it's about. That photo is just amazing. So let me go now to a couple of things. So I made some scribbly notes. Fujita scale, developed in 1971 by Mr. Fujita himself, named as such by a fellow named Fujita, nicknamed Mr. Tornado. Mr. Tornado was reportedly following his intuition on a great deal of things. He referred to tornadoes, or maybe the media in this documentary referred to tornadoes as devils. I don't think he would have been I think he would have been a Buddhist, if you understand what I mean. And let me say that everybody, like I've always said, is intuitive, and the reporters that made the documentary, I think they may have referred to tornadoes as devils. And let me say that a devil is the opposite, right? And what I said in the book was the lines come into the earth in the same magnetic polarity and cause a repelling effect and cause eddy currents. So Fujita scale developed in 1979, but we already read that. Where's my other page? Oh, I'm sure you agree that tornadoes, and I'll use the same term they used in the doco, tornadoes suck the debris into the sky. Yeah, volcanoes, hey? So, now, let me go to, first of all, 36:13 seconds. Let me go to 36:13 seconds. I want to be accurate on this so that I don't steal too much of his work.
Gathered would become part of the most sophisticated tornado study.
I hope you saw the word suction.
The evidence he and his staff gathered
Suction
would
marks
become
from
part of the most sophisticated tornado study Fujita had ever attempted.
Okay, so the red line there is the indication of the route of the tornado in Huntsville, that one. So what's next I want to show you?
Thousands of photographs, radar, satellite imagery, maps, and first-hand accounts. Fujita pieced together the enormity of what transpired in those 2 days in April.
There it is. That's what we're after. This is the path of that line, and tornadoes are dot dashing all over the place. I hope it's not some form of alternating current that's switching on and off. Whoops.
Life has changed, and Molly Spoon get.
Okay, so I'm going to have to pause it while that advert goes through. Okay, so an important indicator here is that I said that king tides are created by the line, one of those 4 lines, every 3 months, and I also said that each side of the king tide is a magnetic line that's almost as strong as the king tide line. We call it the neap tide line. So neap tide line, king tide line, magnetic line, all moving across the earth, and there are definitely other lines in between. This here could have been where the king tide line, the strongest line on the earth causing these tornadoes, wiggled across to here for a short while or something. But that's a strong indicator of three lines moving through the earth to cause tornadoes. So I'm going to go back. It's important to say that the lines move in this general direction and create sweeping across type indications that the line is being repelled by the earth and causing it to wobble and carry on, just like the lines wobble and carry on during the aurora borealis. There's some more important things to say, but somebody told me recently that Australia is moving in a northeast direction at 7 centimetres a year. I find that extremely hard to comprehend in its facts. But anyhow, let's take a look at some more of this, and I'll just pause the video. So here's another piece, a close-up and sketches of the tornadoes. Note that he shows the intensity here, and the purple parts show, I won't spoil it yet, I'm going to go back to that original picture that some of you have paused on and are considering, and I'm going to talk more about the black lines and the purple. Here's a hint, two distinctly different mechanisms, results that are occurring on the earth within each tornado, each hurricane, and obviously each cyclone as well. And let me also say that Fujita developed it in 1971, but especially reported taking measurements and calculations and etc. from there on in with great interest, utilising satellites and all sorts of things, it said. I don't know how they could do that with satellites in 74, but anyhow. So 74 was the biggest tornadoes ever recorded, and what do you know, it was April 74, and what do you know, 1974 was our biggest cyclone here in Australia, in Darwin. And I talked in the book about how the lines carved out the continents, and Darwin is on the coast. But very rarely does a cyclone occur over in the Darwin region, and I have seen cyclones follow the pattern of the Gulf of Carpentaria, which is just to the right per se as we look at the map of Darwin and whatnot. So what I'm saying is it's got to be an extremely strong line to get across to Darwin. So I'm going to pause again here and look at the fact that March, April is when the king tides occur and the change of the seasons. The change of the seasons don't happen exactly when the king tide occurs, but rain doesn't fall at exactly the time when the moon passes. It's a couple of hours after the moon has passed, so somehow as a solar system effect, the seasons change. My guess is after, I'm only guessing, we'll check this out, after the line has created a king tide. And neap tide before and after a king tide. So nothing scary at all that I'm going to show you. It's quite exciting. I'm going to pause. I'm going to pause the video. So here's a really important one here. Oh, I'm so excited this morning. It verifies what some of you were saying. It verifies the opposite of what some of you were saying when I pointed out a neck tied line, king tied line, neck tied line. So look at this. This has got two really important facts in it right here. So it's a line of the opposite polarity and it's a magnetic line. Let's look at the line apart from the Earth, apart from the atmospheric spinning. Let's look at the line itself causing magnetics. I'm going to say something right here. It's so exciting. It's like I'm going to pee my pants. He says here, there's an indicator here, and I think this is some sort of other schematic diagram from the satellite or so, maybe, of those other three lines I pointed out, neck tied, king tied, neck tied. So it says here the neck tied line that I indicated, and neck tied line that I indicated, and this is a king tied line that I was talking about. And my guess is that it goes a little bit further here. He's only indicating maybe where they started. And there's a really important note that's been made there, and I'll point out that note in a second. It's just unbelievable. So the king tide line, the middle line, I said is the strongest, and I said they're magnetic. And I said just a moment ago that there is a magnetic effect, and there is a atmospheric effect around the outside of the magnetic effect, or it could be the other way around. I think it is the other way around, I'm not sure. But let me say this, I've seen some videos. Cows are lifted and slung out of the spin. But cars, which are steel, right here, and trucks and buses, all metal things, car lifted on the middle line. Okay, you like that? I love it. I'm going to have to edit some of my giggles and stuff out of it because you're not allowed to be egotistical. Here he indicates that the funnel went aloft, meaning it lifted up, it disappeared, and then it came again at Roe or Rore or whatever it's called, some other city, and grounded again and went for it again. But the most intense one was the middle one where it lifted a car. We've seen even more intense ones lift trucks and stuff. Whether I'm getting it mixed up with, now I haven't ever experienced a tornado myself, but this satellite image is at night, facing away from our sun in the day, which would be in the day. This indicates that these tornadoes are created by something on the dark side of our Earth, but I don't know the time of day. This might be just after nightfall. Let's go on and have a look at some more. I saw during the documentary that people ran for their basements to get cover, and I think they were, unfortunately, God be with them, sucked out of their basements. And that is another thing that makes tornadoes scary. But besides the fact that you can't see them coming, you can only hear them, somebody said like a train, at night. You can't see them at night. You can only hear them coming, the roar. Okay, so this part here is saying that 6% were automobiles. That 6%, I would bet that that 6% in automobiles was during, of course, to state the obvious, the most intense time. But the most intense time is when the magnetic line is there. I'd like to know, I don't know whether I would be able to handle it, to watch some actual footage of tornadoes and what it does with animals. Oh, I'm really sorry to say that. It upsets me to say that. But, hey, that's science, isn't it? You know? So, I've got no real emotional attachment to automobiles. Not even my car, the Nautilus. 3% en route to shelter. I don't understand what that means. Maybe that's where it took lives. So 74% was houses and buildings. That's the atmospheric effect I'm saying. 17% mobile homes. Wouldn't be a great deal of magnetic effect on those. More so atmospheric effect. But it could have happened. Of course it would have happened as it intensified to take mobile homes. But 6 mobile homes. And also to say, we're going to look at it soon, they talk about the lines gouging into the earth. That is the most exciting part for me. And we're going to go to that now, I think, and have a look at that. Okay, so in the second part of his documentary, he's talking about air bursts coming onto the ground, flattening trees, causing aeroplanes to be pumped out of the sky, and etc. I'm going to tell you later on, come back to this and tell you later on what air bursts are. Okay, let's go back now, look at something really important, the tracks that were left on the ground by the tornadoes. This is still a pause in the documentary where Mr. Fujita, after 35 years, witnessed his first tornado. Now, what's important is the cloud. The swirling around is going to cause cold, which is a different atmosphere to what's outside of that. And the swirling around would have been there, present, before the tornado was formed, before the cloud was there. And it's a big cumulus cloud. So it begs to question, are cumulus clouds caused? They're different to whiskey clouds and all, you know, whispering, you know, thin clouds and all that sort of thing. They're different to those. And so is specifically cumulus clouds caused by a big swirling of a line coming into the earth that's not intense yet until it's amplified, like through that magnifying glass effect, funneling, bottlenecking the line onto the ground. So let's go back now and have a look at the sketches, the actual sketches of lines, photographs I think it is, of lines left on the ground after the tornado, and we'll see that it's a mechanical effect of the lines swirling around. Let's go back and have a look at it, hey? Have a look at the tornado forming here, a green line, a line that I'm saying is being contorted as it comes to the ground in the same polarity as our Earth. Maybe, just maybe, cyclones are the opposite polarity, and that's why they're bigger. Maybe, just maybe, it's the same line in the same polarity, but occurring in a different polarity of our Earth, making it opposing polarities and an attracting energy or something. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. But it's fairly dark there. Maybe it's at sunset. Let's have a look at some more. This is the next stage, I think, of the cyclone. And you can see magnetic lines, I described them in the book as tubular form. I should have said that early in the passage. In the book I describe them as tubular form. So in this video,
Most frequently visited by the strongest of tornadoes.
and lots of lightning. I said in the book how the lines coming into the earth create lightning. the movement of the line coming into the earth is causing it to have a higher percentage of electrical energy. Now this is an important one here. What I'm saying is that I think it's the line on the, there's two definite tubes there in one. I think that the outside one looks like it's atmospheric, and the center one is the magnetic line coming into the earth. So let's go on and have a look. This is that first image I spoke of in the beginning of my video, how you can see there's sort of like a volcano effect in shadow here coming up from the earth. It's much wider than the actual line tornado coming into the earth. Look, there's two of them. This one looks more intense, of course. This one's just forming. And so my guess is there'll be another one over here. But it's two energies meeting together. We're seeing that as it forms. Let's have a look further and let's see if there's another tornado up here forming. Now this is a pause in the video showing you debris being sucked up and thrown out immediately. So this is what I'm talking about. If we could see the center where the cars are magnetically drawn straight up, and it's nothing to do with the intensity of the line, of the storm, of the tornado. It's nothing to do with the intensity of the atmospheric mechanics of the tornado. The car being sucked up, I'm saying, is purely due to magnetics. Let's have another look. There we are there, I captured it. Here's your tornado with a magnetic line, and I think somehow the line beside it is in an opposite polarity, and it's lightning into the ground. My guess, the more intense line there, maybe this intense lightning is more electrical energy or something, I'm not sure. But look, here's a storm here in the front, here's the tornado, and here's a lightning. There's three lines there. Let's go on and have another look. Right here in this shot, I think we're seeing the magnification effect of the line. I think it's in a larger diameter here, and it's magnified. Oh, hang on. In the book, I mentioned that our planets, the cores of our planets, were caused by tubes inside tubes. This is an outer tube, and this is an inner tube, without a doubt. That's what's going on there. And look at the greeny haze up here. So there's that. Now this here looks like a number of tubes within the magnetic line there.
And technically sophisticated minds that is akin to magic.
There's a distinct two mechanisms happening there. The outer atmospheric in the middle magnetic line.
Ever since Benjamin Franklin chased what he called a whirlwind into a Maryland forest in 1744, scientists have struggled to explain the nature and structure of tornadoes.
My sincerest apologies for appearing so unemotional when so many deaths are occurring from tornadoes, but that's my Asperger's, as well as my lack of knowledge. I haven't never watched a great deal of TV. Right here, I make a sincere personal apology for appearing so cold in my delivery on analysing tornadoes. My thoughts and blessings go out to those lives lost in tornadoes. I'd like to say that right now. Probably the most important thing I'd like to say in this video. Anyhow, let's jump back and have a look. And there I go again with another cold delivery but let's have a look again. I'm all about trying to save lives in the future. So that's the most important part for me. Anyway, let's go back and have a look again. Chap said just there in the documentary that the knowledge of tornadoes was wrong. My most sincerest condolences goes out to Mr. Tornado, Mr. Fujita, for developing that scale. It's a great warning device for an oncoming tornado. And I think it's important to know the scale when you're listening to the radio or TV at night time when the tornadoes come. We know they come during the day as well, but the scariest ones, the most horrifying ones, come at night. And my guess is that they come during the day while the daylight's out, in the afternoon, just before the sun goes down and those lines begin to come in. The most horrifying tornadoes of all time in 1974, he speaks about, were over a 2-day period. So let's go back again and look at some more stuff. Now this photo here is the very first photo I saw in this documentary, footage that really confirmed for me that it's magnetic lines. This is what I saw in the first 5 minutes. In that first 5 minutes of the documentary that I caught at the end and then went to YouTube for the full thing. The tornado is going sideways. Look at the time of day. The tornado is going sideways. The tornado is going sideways, 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 sideways. So sideways. And then it's straight up and down with intensity. So what I'm saying is, in the same effect of a storm, we have a green line. I said in previous videos, a green line that comes across, moves across the earth, a cloud face with a green effect on it. The worst storms of hail coming across the earth. Now, these lines that are coming across the earth, maybe they're coming in the afternoon. If we imagine our globe and the line coming in to the earth as the sun's setting, and so the line is only hitting the side of our earth or something, coming in from the side. And then as night time comes, these photos are here at night time, maybe at night time is when it goes straight onto the earth. And it seems to be attracted to an area of our earth that my guess is extremely magnetic for some reason. Maybe the lines have been on our earth when it was an infant, or maybe the lines were on our earth when it was a fetus growing upon the line and put lots of iron ore or magnetic ore or magnetic material into that area of the earth when the line was before the lines matured. So let's take another look, and I'm going to show you those scars and swirly bits on the ground. Fuck off, you bunch of fucks.
Fujita gathered photographs from 53 different locations. Someone has taken a picture of the tornado here looking one direction, another
So let's look at this still photo here of the hurricane going sideways. They're saying that the cumulus cloud, here's the sketch here, here's the cumulus cloud above. They're saying that the cumulus cloud throws an atmospheric vortex across the land. I'm saying that the lines coming in at the edge of the Earth as the sun's setting, maybe they are from a neighbouring sun in the opposite polarity, and cyclones are the same polarity or something because they're much bigger. So what I'm saying is that it's a line that's of the same polarity that's being repelled type of thing, and it's being pushed across the Earth. So Mr. Fujita was fantastic in his studies for so many years. He devoted his whole life to the study of tornadoes. He called this, the big one, a wall cloud. He called this ring one here a ring cloud, and this one here a tail cloud. Identifications that we really needed. He had made these identifications early in 1957. My sincerest apology. He calls it not a ring cloud but a collar cloud. That is the identifying name given by Mr. Fujita in about 1957 of the clouds. And this one here, I've got it absolutely right. It's called a tail cloud. That is the name of the atmospheric effect he's given. I haven't given tornadoes a magnetic identification, but maybe I did just then. Okay, so here he's indicating the wall cloud, the collar cloud, and the tail cloud just as the tornado forms. Mr. Fujita says right here that the wall clouds were not random. Maybe he's worked out the timing of them, that they are mechanically timely. Here's the same cloud again as the tail is reducing, and what it's doing is the magnetic line is going to stand up, let's say, per se. So 22 minutes past 6 there he's got on his clock. So this here, it's important to point out that it's 6:30 here, and he's indicating before he draws the tail and etc. sketch, at 6:30 he's indicating that the tornado has stood up, but he's got that first, or they have put that first in the documentary. Let's look at the next shot, which is earlier than this in the which is earlier than this in events, dates and times, but the next part of the video, the documentary, is earlier in time by about 10 minutes. So let's take a look at that. So this here where I paused is 21 minutes past 6, the tail. So this is after what I just spoke about in the video, but it's earlier in time, 6:27 or so, just before it stands up, just before the line stands up, when the tail cloud has just about disappeared and it's about to stand up and become a full-blown hurricane. And here's the collar cloud, and here's the cumulus cloud, collar being on the outside, of course. The collar has got to be, in accordance to my book, one of the other tubes. We're looking down it, of course. Okay, so this is the part that I really wanted to show you, the line in the ground, and this is after the line, after it stands up, swirling into the ground, when that line is pointing straight onto the ground, pinpointing onto the ground. They said in the documentary that these gouges were where they believed the tornado was carrying heavy objects. They didn't believe at the time that the vortex was pointing onto the ground and sucking up. I've heard about tornadoes that can suck up a track 3 inches wide of bitumen off the road. So they're saying in the documentary that the scars on the earth left behind here in their photographs and etc. are from heavy objects that were dragged across the ground.
Objects along the
Mr. Fujito didn't believe the theory that it was picking up and dragging large objects. He said there was tornadoes within tornadoes. He's showing here 3 tornadoes outside of the strongest tornado, the major tornado, and that could be other lines. Look, there's 3 of them. I don't know whether it has a great deal to do with it, but there should be a course tornado back here and a tornado in front, but this is the most intense. And I've had this theory for quite a while that regardless of a center line and a line each side, which causes the king tide and the neck tides, I've had this theory for some time that the king tide line has 3 lines around it. And this is confirming that theory of mine that I've never spoken about.